just want to take a few minutes, just briefly here before the pastor comes to minister. And I don't want to sound like a billboard for the Ram. That's not what this is about at all. Every time we end up, put a trip together, and I take some people down there, it's got to the point that I wonder in my mind, what's the purpose of this trip? What are you going to unfold here that we haven't already experienced? And every time it's different. It's unique. It's like it's carved out by God. This time was a time of nothing but intercession for me. It's intercessing worship, intercessing prayer, intercessing praise. And what I want you to understand, and I really want you to understand this, the best way I know how to put it, and I hate onions. I think that's the one mistake in all of the creative work of God. It was an accident. It was an onion. I know you do. I've smelled it on you 1,000 times. You take an onion at a store and you put it to your nose, you really don't get much of the fragrance. We're going to, for hypothetical reasons, we're going to say an onion smells good. But to get the full fragrance of it, you have to peel that onion back, and you won't know that. And for the time that we walked in those doors, we were all onions. And from that moment till we walked out, literally walked out the door, waiting for Monty to get done, for God to get done with Monty. I mean, we're ready to leave, and he's on his back. The onion is being peeled back. Layer by layer by layer, I watched our men unfold before God to a point that they smelled so good and they looked so good. And one of the things that took place, and I'll never forget this the rest of my life, he said, the guy that was doing worship, Rick Pino was there, but it was one of the other guys. He said, worship needs to be like this. It needs to be the mirror image of what the crucifixion looked like on the cross. Your worship needs to look like what Jesus did at the cross. And when he said that, and they started playing music, I literally had to take one step back before I got into my mode and watched the most wild dancing and worship that I have ever seen in my life. Mark, look, I told Mark on the way back, I said, you look like a white man trying to play in the NBA and doing everything you can to get to the rim to dunk the ball. Bodies were flying. These men were the work of God was just, it was unlike anything I've ever seen in my life, ever in my life. And I realized something, that the Bible says this in Genesis, that in the beginning God created. Yes. And he's never stopped creating. Yes. But the beautiful part is he never stops recreating. That's right. Over and over and over and over again. God constantly recreates within us. Because it's not about who we are, right? It's not about our standards. It's not about our failures. It's about our process to get where God is bringing us to. And there are just certain times in our life that God needs to recreate us. And I was with a group of men that we were recreating. We got in the van and took off, and we got in about 3 o'clock this morning or something like that. And they're all curled up together on the van, cuddled, and I got pictures. I don't know if spiritual extortion is against the law, but I wanted to take just a minute. I want to say this, and I want each man to come up here and say something. And I thought on the way home, how do I say this without being a billboard? In April, there is a women's conference. Now, it's a day longer than the men's. There's just more work to do in women than there is men. gets more spiritual and they get to stay longer, man. He said, how do you like me? Okay. Listen, I don't know how many trips I've made. I don't go for feel good. I don't. Feel good has nothing to do with it. I go for, I feel like it's part of the call of God in my life to take people. And I thought to this, John, I thought, why is it we talk about it? Why is it we go all the way to Alabama or different places like that? The beautiful part about it is you just get to see what other people have poured into the kingdom and the sacrifices they've made to get to where they are. And it's always good to hear a creative word from somebody different and something. It's not any fresher than what you hear. It's just different.
Right.
I watched 400 men older than us, younger than us, weep and fall and melt in the presence of God. So I got to know a lot of people down there. I've got to know some of the staff, and they came to me and said, look, what happens with the women's conference is second day. Nothing is like what happens at the women's conference. Nothing. All the events we do, he said, the women's conference, he said, the men sneak in and sit on the back row to experience what goes on. I want to say this to you women. I would do whatever I had to do if I were you, knowing what I know. I'd make every effort to take a trip. Is it a sacrifice? Yeah, it is. It's a 9-hour drive. How many we had? 8 men? And the feminine side in us had to stop every 8 miles, it seems like. Pastor Brad, I got a TT. Really? It's a sacrifice. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you, it is worth every dollar and hour and sleepless minute that you get to go and bond with these women and with ministry and let God, let be that onion and watch God begin to peel back some things that you didn't even know was there.
Right.
It was beautiful. Come here, guys, real quick. It's on my face. Come on, man. Oh, he's all about it on the way home. Come on up here, please. Oh, that's right. Is there somebody else? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, Ricky's not here. That's right. I had so many things come when we were on our face of prayer. There's been a lot of time on your face there. Had a lot of things just, I stood and prayed for these men. Didn't lay hands on them much. I watched everybody else do it. That's not the purpose of all that. But I watched, and you have to understand, I watched things move aside, literally in their lives. In my life as well. I watched it. And I watched them take steps forward. I never cried so hard. Dennis and I were talking about the carpet in that place, John. There's probably 50,000 gallons of tears in that carpet. 20,000 gallons of snot in that carpet. 15,000 gallons of sweat in that carpet. It speaks.